here. All right. All right, everybody. This is Joe Burnich with BigWestMarketing.com. Thanks for checking out another one of our videos. This one's going to be pretty cool because we've got Jason Brown on the line. And I'm going to be interviewing Jason. Let me tell you a little bit about him. So a few weeks ago, if you saw my video where I was talking about that NBC news report about fake Google listings, and it featured Jason Brown. Well, what was cool was Jason, tell me, back me up if I'm right here, but you actually searched for that news report and you saw our video come up above the actual NBC report. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. I was looking for a link to the video so that I could pitch for a conference. And when I looked for the NBC TODAY Show, I didn't find it, but I found your video. And then I started watching it and I was like, oh, hey, I know Big West Marketing. I met one of your employees at an event, and I just thought it was cool that somebody was, outranking the Today Show, but also talking about and being an evangelist in fake Google listings and reviews.
Yeah, we've been battling this a long time, just like you have, as far as just all these fake businesses showing up on Google. Can you give everybody like a little rundown of why are people making these fake businesses on Google? Like, what's that all about even?
Yeah, so it used to be back when Google Local first started, when it was the Google Places, and then it became Google My Places and then Google My Business. So basically, they used to have like a 7-pack, and so you actually had a lot more visibility in your market. Well, as it's taken off, Google's had to like make minor tweaks to their algorithms on how they're showing local businesses, and so now it's more on proximity. So you need to actually be close to your customers in order to show up. And because of that, now people have decided, well, I'm not going to be able to rank very well if I have one listing in one in particular part of the area. So what they want to do so they can have a bigger shot at getting more traction and more business is they started creating listings in different parts of the city. So let's say we'll take like Los Angeles is a great example. So people will create a listing in Los Angeles and they'll create one in the center. They'll create some in the outskirts. And then what they'll do is they'll start creating these listings in different parts of different cities, surrounding areas, right? So they'll go Pasadena, Arcadia, Altadena, Monrovia, South Pasadena, et cetera. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to dominate all of that proximity search. So that way you're going to be getting one of their listings, and then those listings are going to like a call center, or they're being funneled into like one website. And so this is the way that people can game the system and rank without actually really doing the regular SEO.
And so it's kind of like they're pretending to be franchises with all these locations in the different cities in the metro area. And I've seen it work. I've seen it actually work sometimes, but I've also had clients that have tried to play that game and had it work for a little while. And then all of a sudden they all just get shut down or get suspended all at once. And then we had one guy, it took 1.5 years for him to actually get back in Google's good graces to where he could actually even show up on the map at all. So.
Right, and that's the problem is when you're trying to game the system and you're trying to push the envelope. Yeah, it's going to be a quick win. Unfortunately, it does work. It works really, really well. But when you don't do it the right way, you don't do it correctly, and you just make 100% rookie mistakes. And I see it all the time. Even the people that are selling this stuff make those same rookie mistakes. And I sit there and go, all right, yeah, you kind of got a little finesse going, but you've left some like wide open identifying factors, and so it's super easy for me to like go in and go, okay, this listing is lead gen. They've got 150 of them, and then I'll go and just grab and bag and tag a bunch, kick them over to Google, and wait for Google to come in and wipe them out. Because but here's the problem: if it was a legitimate business and you had that one legitimate listing, let's say you're in San Francisco, which was super competitive, right? Or you're a locksmith in Boston, right? Super competitive. Well, if you lose that listing and you've got to wait 3 days, 6 months, a year, 18 months, and you can't get any of that Google traffic, well, all those efforts were all wasted because now you're suspended and you're not be able to get in Google's good graces. And we've actually seen some pretty high profile locations that have screwed around, not just with the fake listings, but pushing the envelope with Google. And I know a big publisher that's got a well, about I think 18 listings, and they got completely nuked by Google, and now they got to do like this whole back and forth of trying to get themselves back into Google's good graces.
Yeah.
And it's an extremely convoluted process for them.
Yeah, and I know that it's if you're paying one of these, you know, not so ethical SEO companies to set up all these fake listings for you, they're not cheap either. I mean, you can spend thousands and thousands, and then 6 months later have everything wiped out, and then you're getting zero calls all of a sudden.
Yeah, they're selling it for like $2,300 for 20 locations. So you're looking at you're spending about what $110 per location to get all these fake listings. And here's the thing: they've got their disclaimer, so they sit there and say, if you get suspended by Google and it's out and it's past a 2-week period, well, you're just out that money. Well, they're collecting the money; it doesn't matter to them. But you paid $2,000, $2,500. And now you're not getting anything out of that. So you just wasted all that money that could have been used on, I don't know, paid ads.
Yeah. So anybody who's watching this that has a service area business, I understand the temptation, because I used to have a carpet cleaning business. So I understand you want to rank in multiple cities and you want to get work from everywhere you possibly can. But if you're in it for the long game, if you're looking to just make a quick buck and then get out, that's fine. Then that's one thing. But most of our clients, actually all of our clients right now, are in it for the long game. They want to build a brand over time, and they want to have a really solid business that they can one day pass on to their kids, or they can sell, or just have something really proud of that's supporting their family. So playing these games or hiring these companies that play the games, like Jason was saying, is short. You can have some short-term wins, but the long-term and is going to probably screw you, to be blunt. And so just keep that in mind as you're talking to SEO companies, or if you're looking for ways to kind of cheat the system or pretend that you have multiple listings, something like that. Just be careful. There are other ways to get into other cities, with organic rankings or running ads, paid ads. So there are ways to do it right, and if you're in it for the long game, and if you're a serious business owner, then that's the way you really want to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so what I want to talk about real quick is, I know that we have clients who come up to call us up and they'll be like, hey, Joe, we see this competitor in our city. We don't think it's a real business. And then we go through our own little process of getting these businesses taken down. But I know you said you manage over 900 listings with franchise companies. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. And it sounds like you're kind of leading the charge in this whole battle of helping Google take down fake businesses. Is that safe to make that statement?
Yeah, I guess I'm one of the most vocal ones out there. There's a few of us out there, but yeah, I guess I'm the most vocal of like, hey, Google, come on, we got to fix this. Let's real damage is being done. Like one of the franchises that I work with, it's easy to become a mom and pop shop, right? Like, yeah. But the problem is a lot of these mom and pop shops, they're not carrying the proper insurance that they have, and there's also that you run that risk of actually being injured if you use incorrect services. So, without going into one of the franchises, so they do lashes, right, and eyebrows, eyebrows for any infection, right? Well, you can easily get an eye infection, right? Well, if they're running it out of their house and they don't carry that insurance, and you get severely injured, you can't go after them, right? Because they're going to be a mom and pop without that insurance to back you up. And so, right. Yeah. So one of the things that I have to do is I have to go and look at these areas where the competitors are keyword stuffing their name. So they're eyelash design by Julie in Fort Lauderdale serving Tampa, right? As an example, right? 24-hour window lock repair, garage door services, spring repair in Marietta, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, Atlanta, coming, you name it.
They're putting that as their business name, like right in their Google listing, right?
Right. I actually got one today where I was looking at the business. It's a car wash person, and their address, I kid you not, was best rated 1237 Main Street, highly voted, right? And I was like, they even they stuff their keywords into their address, and you're just like, come on, I mean, like, really? But look, this is the thing people are trying to do. Like, everybody's trying to come up with some way that they can, circumvent the system. So when I start seeing, the keyword stuffing, then I'll go to the Google My Business redressal form, and I'll put, a link to their CID number, which I use in the Gather Up app. So you can use that. Go there, plug the business name in there. They'll give you the map ID that you need. Plug it into Google and say, look, you need to fix this. And either it's going to be, let's update the address, let's update the name, or it's obviously a spam listing. You do Google search and you're like, oh, look, they're using a PO box. You're like, okay, good. So it's a PO box, at a UPS store. So I'll tag it as the address and say, hey, look, you need to remove this. Here's a link to the UPS store where they're renting their mailbox, and then wait about 2 to 3 weeks, and then Google will come in and wipe them out.
And so you've gotten a ton of these taken down in your career. How many would you say, if you're going to guess, how many spam listings have you gotten taken off Google, would you say?
6,000 to 7,000 maybe. I think I've done more.
That many.
Reviews.
Oh, it's in the thousands. Okay, I thought we were talking like a couple hundred. So, okay.
Oh no, I just did 150 before I went to Vegas, and it was like the 5th time that I've reported this, this knucklehead with this, spam listing. So he's had at least, I think, 2,000 listings that I personally have reported.
Man. And so let's give these guys a little more step-by-step how to, if they see somebody in their area that's ranking, and they know they shouldn't be, they know they're a fake business or somebody that's trying to play games at least. Can we give everybody like a little step-by-step on how you, the pro, how you go and do that?
Sure. So the quick things that you can do is you can do Google search in your area for your industry. So let's say you're a locksmith. So you just type locksmith, you see the map pack, and then you can click and see more results. Well, now you can start looking to see, okay, are we seeing like a lot of the same naming conventions? So let's just say there's 25/7 locksmith, right? Mm-hmm. And you're in Dallas. So you start seeing, 25/7 locksmith Dallas, 25/7 locksmith Keelan, Kingwood, Houston, etc. So when you start seeing like a lot of the same naming conventions, and then you start noticing that, I don't know, the website URLs are all going to the same website and they're using like the same telephone number, well, that's usually your biggest red flag that they're going to be lead gen. And when you go and you actually click on the websites, I start looking to see, okay, am I actually finding employees that are listed here, or am I just seeing a bunch of stock photos? And you're going to see stock photos on the listing. You'll see stock photos on the GMB. You'll look for actual staff members, and they won't have staff members, right? Because they're just selling those leads to your competitors. And so when I get a bunch of those, then what I'll do is I'll do in the map pack search, I'll go all in title : 25/7 locksmith, and then Google will start showing me all the listings that are in those areas, and then I'll start clicking on them one by one and start grabbing the CID numbers, and then I'll create a whole Google document so that it'll be the name, the CID, the map or the physical address if it's posted, if it's not an SAB, the website and telephone number, and I'll create a whole document of that one, like I did for that guy with 150, and then I'll go to the Google My Business redressal form, and then I'll just bulk upload that entire sheet that I created in Excel.
So tell people about that form. Where do they find the and what is it called again? It's called the redressal, right? Am I saying that right? Okay.
Right. It's the Google My Business redressal form. So if you go to support.google.com/business/business_redressal_form. It's the business complaint form. So you just go directly there. You put it automatically will you put your name, your email address, and then the business listing name, and then links to their listings. And if you're going to do like over 6 listings, then that's when I say you want to do the Google sheet, so that way they can just go and take a look at it, because you really don't want to click add a new line, here's a CID, add a new line, here's a CID, especially if you've got like 30 or 40.
Yeah.
Look, I literally go all the way from San Diego up to Seattle over to Washington, over to New York, and back down to Florida. So I
Oh
hit
wow.
everybody in between. Like, I'm not just sitting there just looking at like my local area.
Yeah.
When I say that there's like a major, network that have been, talked about, like, they were talking about it on the, in the Wall Street Journal. So, like, dog bite lawyer, right? So I
Yeah.
actually went through and actually found a bunch of dog bite lawyers and would turn them in, or Sub-Zero appliance repair. You're like, okay, yeah, there's not that many people that are really named Sub-Zero appliance repair. So I would go grab those and turn those in to Google and let them,
Yeah.
clean out.
Yeah, so sometimes it's just an individual that's trying to play games in a city. Sometimes it's a big, I wouldn't say big company, but somebody that's really figured something out, and
Right.
they've got hundreds of listings out there across the country. So you can
Yeah.
take them down one by one, or you can take them down all at once. You working with franchises, I know you like to take them down all at once. We've done the same thing. We've also had luck going in and just doing a suggest and edit. If it's like a onesie twosie, suggest and edit, and it takes about a month, but Google actually gets in there and they end up taking them down. We just did 2 last month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was a fan of suggested edits, but I'm not a fan.
Okay.
So I've seen too many issues where that the case in point where you actually have to wait for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And I've also heard there's some issues where if you make too many edits, then they don't respect your count as much. And I've heard a lot of people say, okay, well, once you get to a level 7, then all your edits automatically get approved. And I haven't found any evidence of that. You could be, a level 0 or a level 1 local guide, and they'll either accept or deny your edits. And I mean, I've seen countless examples of people that are like, really, you didn't want to, accept, that your mom was a fake listing, or Thor's dildo repair was a fake
Yeah.
listing. We all know that, and we suggest this as a spam edit, and it goes as nope, denied.
Okay. So redressal form is the way to go, as opposed to just suggest and edit. Okay.
Yeah, do that just to keep yourself safe, because it's almost like the game of Minesweep. You never know if you're going to get your edit approved, but if you send it directly to the redressal form, then it actually goes to a Google representative to
So
actually.
it's a human being doing this, not like the algorithm software going in there and trying to figure it out. Okay.
Exactly.
That's a big deal, because it's hard to get Google to get humans to do things sometimes. So guys, pay attention to this. You can also, Jason gave you the URL there. I know you can also just go and Google, the redressal form and find that as well. Now, what about these people that just want to take down all their competitors so they can jump up in what if you try to do that to legit businesses? What happens in that case, Jason?
Well, yeah. So if you do a bunch of fraudulent edits, right, or you start reporting a bunch of fraudulent businesses, well, then eventually Google's going to just sit there and just completely, ignore your edits. You're going to say,
Yeah.
especially with the suggested edits or through redressal. So you want to make sure that you're not just trying to, stick it to your competitors, but you're actually trying to take out, the legitimate bad people. So if your competitors are keyword stuffing, or they're creating a bunch of listings at their employees' homes, which is a big thing that people do, right?
Yep.
Like, okay, well, I'm going to create a service area business. So if you get, John Smith's garage repair, right? And John Smith's garage repair has 7 listings in their city, and their website only lists 1 address. Well, then that 1 address is the one that's supposed to be there. And then, you can go ahead and report the fake listings or the employee listings that are being created, because they're not allowed to have that. So, go ahead and report those. The other thing you can do, is click on their their address and punch that into Google and see, okay, well, what is Google saying that this address belongs to? Is it a co-working space? Is it a rent-a-desk? Is it a UPS store? Is it a private residence? If it's a private residence and they don't have signage and they're not hiding their address, then Google will go in and actually remove those business listings because they're not set up properly.
Right. Yes, and that's another big thing too. If you do have a residential address, Google does want you to hide it. If somebody reports you, you could be in trouble. So, that's all good stuff, man. This is awesome. Thank you for this. Let's move on. I know that you are also really big into like review spam. So leaving Google reviews, leaving fake Google reviews. That's a problem especially for a lot of our clients, service area businesses. They know that their competitors have half of their 80 reviews are fake, or even more than half, but they feel like there's nothing to be done about that. What would you say to that?
Yeah, so okay, so here's the thing. So consumers are starting to become more savvy when it comes to reading reviews, and I've actually seen a lot of businesses get outed by their upset customers, and they're like, "There's no way these reviews are legitimate. This is not the experience I had. This company is either buying them or faking them, right?" So yeah, if they're gonna go down that route, eventually they're gonna get caught, right? They're gonna get outed. And I've also seen cases, and especially the fact that I own the website Review Fraud, where I actually have former employees come to me and they're like, "Yeah, my boss paid me to buy fake reviews," or he told all the staff that we had to create multiple accounts to flood the listing with fake reviews. So you're going to get outed if you do that. Now, if they have fake reviews, what I always say to do is to contact Google My Business support directly on Twitter, twitter.com/Google My Biz. So what you want to do is the same thing that I said with my Excel form, is create a sheet with the person's name, and then you'll have say like 50 reviews. So you have John Smith, Joe Blow, Bob Green, Jason Brown, and then the next column is going to be the link to their Google profile that shows all the reviews that they've done, and then the next few columns is going to be some of the shared reviews that they're doing. So say they've reviewed like 17 garage door repair companies all throughout the United States. Well, then as soon as I can show like examples of like 4 or 5 businesses that are being reviewed, on a consistent basis by people, then I'll actually put the links to that share review there in that document. Then I'll tweet to Google My Business, support, and say, "Hey, came across, this company with suspicious reviews," and then I'll send them a DM message. You have to be following Twitter back you have to be following Google My Business on Twitter for them to send you a DM. So you send them a DM with the business name and a link to your Google sheet, and then Google support will go ahead and take it, and then they'll send that over to the powers that be to go in and review it and come in and determine if they need to wipe out all those reviews. If they're doing like hey, enter this raffle drawing to get reviews. If you can find evidence of that, and a lot of people will post it on Facebook, their raffles, and this is the easiest one to take out. So you just get the link to that Facebook post where they're like, "Yeah, leave us a 5-star review and you're going to win an iPad." Well, once you are able to provide them with that document, Google goes in and wipes out anything that they deem to do that.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, so they are cracking down on incentives for reviews. I know Yelp was huge on that. I didn't think Google. I know Google talks about it in their guidelines, but I didn't know that you could actually get them to take action on it. So that's cool. That's awesome.
Well, yes, because reviews are actually regulated by the FTC. So because of the fact that they say that you cannot incentivize, because if you're going to so in order to incentivize or give like a discount, the reviewer actually has to say, "I was incentivized to leave this review." Well, since they don't do it, they've broken the FTC's rules governing the reviews. And so since it's illegal with the FTC, then Google follows suit and says, "Okay, it violates our terms of service." And so we've actually seen a lot of cases where Google will just come in and wipe out all the reviews because it was, obviously a solicited review through a contest. And also same goes with like review gating. So if you're using a review gating service where they sit there and say, "Okay, if you leave a 4 or 5-star review, then we're going to go ahead and encourage you to leave a review on Google. But if you leave a 3 stars or lower, then we're going to ask for direct feedback." All it takes is one person to report that email over to Google, and then they'll go in and start wiping out any reviews that they feel are violating of their review gating.
So they're final. So yeah, it sounds like Google's finally putting some effort in, and I know they started doing the whole Google Guide thing. I just got my level 5. I'm super proud of myself. And I know that all the reviews I've left have stuck, and a lot of times they're right at the very top. So I think it's cool that Google's finally putting some time, effort, resources into the reviews, getting rid of fake reviews and getting rid of these fake businesses too. But that's pretty cool that Twitter is the way to go report that. That's some like inside information everybody pay attention to that. I know that, yeah, I remember we were at one of the SEO conferences, and one of the Google reps was there, and he was like, if you want to talk to the real people, get on Twitter. Okay, go do support through Twitter. And that's what we've been doing lately, and it's been great. So I appreciate that feedback. I know that your time is valuable here, Jason. One more thing, I just want to wrap this up with, since you're on the inside, you're dealing with the inside scoop, and you've been on, NBC featured you when it comes to this fake stuff. And I know you said you know some of the people that were dealing with the Wall Street Journal little expose thing. What's going on behind the scenes as far as like the government and how they're getting involved with this kind of stuff?
Yes. So I think the public pressure. Are we frozen? I couldn't tell.
Not on my end, no.
Okay. Yes. So I'll rephrase that. So I think all the public pressure of the daily articles in the news about fake listings, fake reviews, Amazon scams. I think that pressure is finally starting to mount, and I think consumers are starting to get fed up with it. And I think now it's starting to trickle its way into the local governments, where now, state AGs are sitting there going, okay, we need to, start, handling this. They had the antitrust hearing, and the Wall Street Journal article was brought up by McBath from Georgia. So government's now starting to see this, and they're starting to get upset about it. And so now, as everybody's looking at the tech companies, now the time is right for the government to come in and start cracking down. I think we're going to start seeing some businesses that are going to get torched in the next few months and next few years for spamming Google. And I think the pressure is going to be on the search engines to clean house. And if they can't clean house, then I think the government's going to come in and do it for them, and then they're going to, be embarrassed.
Yeah, and so, kind of the moral of the story here is, if you're playing games or if you're doing this lead gen, fake business stuff, fake reviews, all this stuff, you're probably going to have a much harder time in the future. If you're legit, you're doing everything right, and you got all your ducks in a row, it's probably going to get easier and easier, and you're going to have a better chance to rank in the coming months, coming years. Is that safe to say that?
Yeah, I think it is. I think, like one of the issues I see with working with franchises is they're always trying to figure out where their leads are coming from. They're like, okay, are my leads coming from Google? Or is it coming from the Google My Business? Is it coming from the website? Is it coming from Facebook, from Yelp? Is it paid ads? Is it social posting? And I think the one area that most businesses forget about is referrals, right? Look, if you are treating your customers like they are gold and they are the best thing ever, and they know that you care about them and you're always there for them and you're providing that high level of service, you're going to get so many more referrals out of that than just, okay, well, how am I performing on Google, right? Like, look, customers are always going to be golden as long as you are doing the best thing that you can, right? I'll use the analogy of like a fence, right? So if you put in a brand new wooden fence, well, what are you going to do before you put in the fence? Well, one, you're going to stain the wood, right? Why are you going to stain the wood? Because you don't want to see the wood, rot, right? You're going to go and you're going to dig your trenches. You're going to, put cement down so that way it's not directly on the ground, so that way it's not soaking up all the moisture and water. There's going to be a gap between your concrete wall, right? So if you're treating your business the same way that you would deal with a home repair project and making sure that everything is done, above board and looking great, well, it's gonna last, right?
For the long term, yeah. Set it up for the long term, yeah. If you want to really do well on Google or in business in general, be legit, do a good job, treat your customers right, and build a brand, build something that you can sell or that you can pass on to your kids. Yeah. So cool, man. Is there anything else you want to leave us with today? I really appreciate you joining us here.
Yeah, sure. So here's my thing. So if you get a review on Google and it's a positive one, thank that customer. Tell them how awesome they are for leaving you that review and how much it means to you, right? Mm-hmm. Look, I use the example all the time. For my wife's 40th birthday, I bought her a gift certificate for a massage. She went. She had a great time because it was her birthday. They treated her really special. They gave her an extra 10 minutes. She came home so happy. So I left a review, right, on Facebook, Google, and Yelp.
Oh, nice.
The business owner responded to each and every single review saying it was so wonderful for me to send my wife there, and that they enjoyed the fact that they were able to pamper her, right? So then a few months later, somebody was asking, hey, we're looking for a local masseuse in our area. Any recommendations? Well, myself and a couple other people all recommended the same place. They got 2 new customers out of our recommendations. So it's going to have those wonderful, great ripple effects when you are making your customers your brand ambassadors, and I think we kind of like gloss over that. We're like, well, I just need to, get more clicks and impressions on Google. Well, yeah, you do, but for the right reasons. If you're having a bad experience and people are clicking to your listing to see that they're having bad experiences, well then, they're going to go elsewhere.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. Respond to every review, but don't just respond and say thanks. Show genuine appreciation, and it'll pay off. I love that. Cool. All right, Jason, I will let you get back to work. I got to get back to work. Thank you everybody that's watching this video. I'm going to put all this, put notes below the video so that you guys have all, can get all to the links. You can get over to the Twitter, and you can do all the stuff that we talked about. Thanks for the actionable advice, Jason. And just have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thanks.